Sorry I'm not able to be there with you today, but I decided I was going to record the first part of the lesson for you, since this is kind of a big skill in this new unit. So, last unit, you learned how to estimate quotients when you were dividing by a one-digit divisor. Today, we're going to look at how do we estimate quotients when we're using these new two-digit divisors. So, let's get started. Here's our example problem for today. Your school needs to buy posters for a fundraiser. The school has a budget of $147. Each poster costs $13. About how many posters can your school buy for the fundraiser? So we know that this is division, and we're going to be dividing 147 by $13. So can you divide those numbers in your head? I don't think so. So guess what? We're going to be using compatible numbers again. So let's look at what this looks like and what the rules are for now that we have a two-digit divisor. So step one, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that divisor and we're going to round it to the nearest 10. So our divisor was 13. So 13 rounded to the nearest 10 is going to be 10. Then once we have our divisor rounded to the nearest 10, we're going to make a list of multiples of that divisor until you get as close to 147 as possible without going over. This should sound familiar. This is exactly what we were doing with our single-digit divisors. So there's my list of multiples of 10. So it goes the whole way up to 150. 150 is too high because it went over, but it is the closest to 147. But we want to go to the closest without going over. So it's 140. Now, once you have your closest multiple without going over, then you're going to set up the problem. And your new problem looks like 140 divided by 10. So, remembering one of our skills from our last unit, we're going to box the fact, 14 divided by 1, and our new skill from this unit, which is canceling out those zeros. There's one on the dividend side and one on the divisor side, so we're going to cancel each of those out. And we have 14 divided by 1, which is 14. So our estimated answer to 147 divided by 13 is 14, after we've rounded the divisor and then found the closest multiple without going over, which was 140. Let's look at one more problem. Okay, so Betty made $159 by selling 75 bracelets. Each bracelet cost the same. About how much did each bracelet cost? So we're going to take 159 and divide it by 75. So first we're going to round our divisor. So when we round 75, we end up with 80. Now that we have our rounded divisor, we're going to create a list of multiples in order to get as close to 159 as possible without going over. Okay? So, when we look at this, we have our list of multiples, which is 80, 160, and 240. Now, if you're having trouble with doing the higher multiples, it is basically the same thing as the multiples of 8, which would be 8, 16, and 24. Now, just this once, I'm going to break the rules because our closest multiple is 160, which is only one digit over 159. If we went with 80, then that would be a really, really huge underestimate. So just this one time, we're going to break that rule and we're going to go with the higher one because it is so close to it. So we're going to change this to 160 divided by 80. Cancel out our zeros, box our fact, 16 divided by 8, and we get our rounded answer of 2. Okay, guys. Well, good luck with the rest of the lesson. Make sure that you're thinking about your multiples, and I will see you tomorrow.